Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing start to your morning. We got Thursday today, March 28th. It is 6:30 in the morning here in Arizona. Let's see what we can make happen out of today. So we're looking at DJT. It looks like it's showing signs of a slight resistance. There it goes. There's my secondary light finally turning back on. I am using the Webull trading application for all those that are tuning on in. It is available free and to everyone in the United States. It's the 5th link in the description down below if you guys wanted to check that out. So, all right. Can you guys see me and hear me okay? All right. Looks like my screen is kind of getting delayed. Here it goes. Slight little pullback. Borrow rate right now to short this is absolutely insane, which tells me that more people are wanting to short it, which is great. A 565% borrow rate. Oh, geez. That's if you hold the position overnight, right? Which we do not. So I find it funny. There we go. All right, we hit highs of 69.60 so far on Donald J. Trump media. So you know what that means. Get your short readies. Get your short readies. Okay. All right. Doesn't look like this thing is pulling any of the messages up right now. Beautiful. I couldn't see any of these messages. It was showing blank. All right. Happy Thursday. Are you guys excited for the 3-day weekend? Obviously, this 3-day weekend's a little bit different, but it's an observance to Good Friday, and then we have Easter Sunday this Sunday. So hoping and wishing you guys and your loved ones all a good one. But yeah, market will be closed tomorrow in observance to Good Friday. So why is there no live trading, no trading tomorrow? Yeah, we just answer that. And it looks like this thing is frozen on this side already. Here it goes. Really nice push. This side's down. 150 shares short. Gotta love it. Adding more to my short at these overbought levels. Okay. Guys, I do not know if YouTube is having issues or if it's just on my side. But anything on my Chrome is super delayed. And I can't really see the live chat. I do apologize. Let me double check. I can switch it up. Can you let me know in the LPP Discord chat? Can you guys hear me and see me okay? If you could let me know in the LPP Discord chat, just because I know that's working fine, but it looks like YouTube side is not for me right now. We see you, we hear you. Okay, that's good to know. I just want to make sure that it's working good because I can't see anything in the live chat. So here it goes, DJT pulling on back. So again, what you saw me doing is opening short. Opening short means that I make money as this thing sells off. So instead of trying to buy a stock at a low price and sell it at a higher price, I try to buy it at a high price and then cover it at a lower price. That's the way that you would make money shorting. So you open short and then you buy to cover. Okay. We talk about this in a little bit more detail in the LPP lesson library, but just wanted to make sure that you guys were well aware of what my approach was, that I wasn't buying those shares and hope that they go up. I'm buying those shares and hope that they actually go down. So we have BTC right now rising. So that means that Coinbase can continue to rise. Remember, Coinbase is a cryptocurrency trading platform. And the more that Bitcoin tends to rise, the more that it has a positive influence on coin. So, I mean, Coin just announced yesterday that it was getting investigated by the SEC. Obviously, it's unfortunate news. And this is the thing, right? I've talked about it before where obviously I want Coin to drop. But I even talked about that investigation. I mean, they're always just reaching. So it is unfortunate news for Coinbase. I mean, I did my part in making my few $1,000s on the way down. But other than that, I didn't want to overcomplicate what it was, right? It found its support and it bounced right on back. Now we're going back to retest previous resistance here. So I could consider opening up short as we approach 264 for Coin, but we'll have to wait and see, because if Coin does end up getting rejected and sells back off like it's showing to right now, this thing has 2% pullback potential, which isn't too bad. So there it goes. We got Donald Trump media beginning to test this EMA line. All right, here we go. Testing. So I'm going to remove this because it's not even working. There it goes. I'm going to add another 150 shares short, which is about $10,000 of shorting Donald Trump media stock. And again, just because I'm choosing to do something does not mean that you need to, right? We can all see value in different ways. I'm just explaining to you my thought process. Opening up short there, covering right around $66 is my price target. So this is going to be my last adding more to my short. We're going back to retest a previous support range right around 67. It doesn't have to continue to sell off here. You could actually find its support. But one thing that I saw during the pre-market session is we were seeing, which it shouldn't influence DJT too much. I always call it TJ. But NASDAQ market was a little bit in the red. So I wanted to see if it has a negative influence on it. But look at that, beginning to pull on back. Beautiful. And again, I'm not going to overcomplicate my trading. I'm going to go ahead and begin to cover as we get closer to this oversold range. This is something that, again, I always love to talk about, is never be afraid to lock in profits when it's beginning to show signs of either it approaching your price target. So look at this, from overall highs to that pullback. That was a 4.88% move in a perfect world. But guess what? I'm not a perfect trader. So I need to understand that, when in doubt, cash out, right? One quick second here. Just so I could see the live chat, I'm going to bring it on over here, okay? Because it doesn't freeze when I look at it. Oh, what the heck? Now I did freeze. What the heck? Okay. I'm going to buy to cover here, 150 shares short. There it goes. Approaching previous support range. I'm going to start covering in 250 share increments. We're approaching my price target where I wanted, for it to go to, right around $66 a share, right? You guys heard me say 66. Now everything beyond that is, the cherry on top. So let's see if it finds its support here. Again, this is where the moving average is at. It's where we saw a lot of consolidation yesterday. So we could easily begin to show signs of a support. And that's exactly what it looks like it's trying to do. Do you guys see that? Showing signs of a support. So we have to be careful. It could begin to bounce and try to recover. You have to be, aware of that. Oh, man. Here it goes. Testing for signs of a support. Big push. Look at that. All the way up to highs of 67.25, 67.48. This is how quickly these stocks can begin to recover. So I've sold about half of my position, a little bit less than half. So not the perfect exit, but we're here and we're present. All right. Let's let it rip back up, I guess. See if it goes back up. So wild to me, this thing's not even loading. Okay. Do you see how this thing freezes for me? Oh, there it goes. He's shorting. Okay, now I actually could see it, but I have to keep it here. That's unfortunate. I normally just have it open on a little sidebar. So can you guys let me know if you guys can see me and hear me okay? Can you guys let me know in that live chat? Let me know just so I could see it. All right, here it goes. It is beginning to drop and get rejected below that EMA. So if we show lower lows, I'm going to just add another 100 share short just to take advantage of this lower high, right? So a quick little example of what it's showing. It's this descending resistance. Anytime that it tries to recover, it doesn't go as high as it did before, and then it sells off and forms new lows. It tries to recover, couldn't go as high as it did before, and then again, the idea would be that it continues to sell off, which it doesn't have to, but that would be called a lower high and a lower low. All right, making sure we're all good. Sweet. Happy to hear that. Hopefully, again, you guys are enjoying the little live session. And if you are, please consider dropping a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed already to the channel, again, I would love to answer any questions you might have, but you do have to be subscribed to the channel to partake in that live chat to be able to ask your questions. So just a little heads up on that. We got Coin with a nice push. All right, I'm going to begin. I'm going to start. I want to start shifting my short position to Coin. I'm just going to open 150 shares short, leave it here. It's about $39,000. Okay, $39,634. Opening short here. I see some pullback potential. And I'm going to start closing it here on DJT. So DJT, my short position, dollar-wise, it was a lot less. And you might be asking, Ricky, why would you trade with a lot less money when obviously, you just made 4.5%? First off, I didn't know that I was going to make 4.5%. Obviously, that's the goal, right? So I can calculate, okay, if I end up opening short here and I cover here, this is a 5% move. I could see that's the range that I have to work with. But guess what? Just because I have and create a trade plan doesn't mean that it has to go according to plan. And I also have to respect, right? All jokes aside, DJT is a very volatile stock right now. This thing can shoot up to $75 for what everyone knows, right? There's no control over this. It trades like a smaller cap stock. And just like a smaller cap stock, it comes at a greater form of risk. Sure, it offers 5%, but 5% is a lot to me, right? Just as it could quickly begin to skyrocket the other way. And that wouldn't be good when I'm shorting. So this is a great example of okay, then if something is offering or set to offer a greater form of risk, it doesn't mean that I have to completely avoid it. It just means that I could size down, right? So the position size, the dollar amount that I put behind the trade just has to be a little bit less. And it doesn't have to. But again, if you want to put yourself in a position to succeed, let me ask you a very simple question. This might not make sense for someone that's never taken a trade, but if you've ever taken a trade and then you're super emotional and super irrational while you take that trade, it's probably because you have too much money behind that trade. And that doesn't either make it a good experience, and you also probably don't make the best trade decisions. So a way to kind of combat that is you are mindful of your position size. And that's all I ever want to encourage a beginner to be mindful of the position that you're putting yourself in. And I hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think about that. And here it goes. We got DJT beginning to pull on back to its previous support range. So again, confirming this lower high, pulling on back. Again, strong descending pattern. Do you see how the direction of DJT, although it's green on the day, the current direction, current market sentiment for this, I'm sorry, not market sentiment, current direction is bearish. It is showing signs more of selling pressure than it is of buying pressure. So this is the current direction of DJT, which makes it easier to short, right? If this thing was like what it was doing during the pre-market session, I probably wouldn't want to short it, right? I wouldn't want to open short when there's a bunch of green and barely any red. It's showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. Now direction is the opposite. It's lower highs and lower lows. That is favorable when shorting. Direction is in my favor, right? We have this saying within our LPP team. It's you want to dance with the market. And trust me, it is much easier said than done. I say it, I remind myself of this almost every day, right? And there are so many times that I might not be in the mental state for it, but I make mistakes, right? And I trade against the market. And there's nothing wrong with trading against it with a small position, right? You can just like cut your losses. But when you don't begin to cut your losses and you begin to add more to it and give it more size, then you're really just doing yourself a disservice, right? Because now you're dancing against the market and just hoping that direction ends up changing. So that's the big no-no. So I'm going to buy another 150 shares here just to cover. So this is me reducing my short position and locking in profits. The shares that you saw me buy up here that open short, I'm covering them down here and I'm locking in profits. So I'm making the difference of from $69 down to $66.50. So I'm making about like $2.50 per share, which is great, right? Because I bought a few thousand shares. So that's the whole point, right? To make money, to lock it in when it's approaching a potential support zone. And we're approaching this moving average that's known as the 200 moving average. We talk about this a little bit more in detail in the LPP lesson library. So if you're a beginner and you don't know what that means, trust me, don't hesitate or don't worry about it. It makes more sense as time goes on. But it's a very commonly used indicator that's just to be used as a reference, never as a sole reason to buy or take a trade, but more just as like, okay, we are approaching this. I've made my money. Maybe this is where I want to, begin to take profit. So I have 600 shares left to short. Let's see how much it is that we are up so far during this live. $2,261. Not bad, right? Not the best, not the worst, but definitely not bad. So I'm going to go ahead and buy to cover here. It's been a very simple trade. It's been about 18 minutes since the market has opened. So I just covered another 150 shares. And the thing that I always love to remind myself is I can always jump back in. If all of a sudden this thing begins to aggressively drop and I want to jump back in, which I don't have to, but if I want to, I definitely can. And there it goes. Looks like it's testing the moving average. My goal was to sell right around $66, and that's exactly what my price target is set to be. I have a total of 300 shares, but like I always like to do, I leave myself with my one lucky share. There it goes, buying to cover. And $2,347 is what I left myself with my one lucky share. And I am done with this trade. So, and it's still moving, right? Just because I'm done with it doesn't mean that you need to. It doesn't mean that the trade needs to be done. I want to see a show of hands. If you're part of LPP, again, feel free to partake in that live chat. How many times have I taken a trade and I sell it, I lock in profits, and then it continues to, I continue to miss out. It's life. It happens. And I'm using myself as an example because I love giving this example. I would rather be someone that locks in profits early than someone that doesn't ever lock in profits at all. Because you have to do something and you're never going to be perfect with it. So would you rather be someone that buys a stock and sells it for a profit, but yes, you might sell it early and knowing that you can miss out on profit, like that does suck. Let's talk about it, because it does suck to know that like, oh, I could have made more money. Let's talk about it. It's a real conversation. It's real feelings and real emotions, because you feel like you missed out if you would have just stayed in that position. I get that. Understand those feelings. Feel them right now. Now put yourself in a position where you don't ever sell, you get greedy, and then you go from a green trade. Let's say that I was up $2,000 and then I give it all back and then I end up in the red. What feeling sucks more? The feeling of FOMO or the feeling of going from green to red? And I think that is all I need to understand to justify and being okay with, hey, I'm okay with selling early, right? You guys let me know what you think. All right. Sweet. I'm really happy to hear that. You're going to have to pay 500% on the one lucky share. No, I always close it by the end of the day. I just like having it during the day. But yeah. And here it goes. We still have Coinbase running up. So on this one, as you can see, it's still obviously direction is not in my favor. So on this one, I'm going to have to stay very patient. I'm going to let it run up, let it become overbought. And then once it does, and if it does, begins to show signs of a reversal, I can easily, right? I have 150 shares short right now. What is it? Yeah, 150 shares short. You can see it right on over here, 151. So I left myself with my one lucky share from yesterday. That's fine, because I know that I can buy, thousands of shares short, right? And here it goes. First sign of a resistance. Let's do it. I'm going to do 250 shares short right now, which is about $66,000. Okay, that's what I'm adding to this position size. And there it goes. Adding another 250 shares, which is another $66,000. My price target here is just going to be that moving average once again. So it's not a huge, this is not a huge trade. All right, there it goes. Break even is where we're at right now. But do you see how important position size is? You can have a risky position open. I wouldn't recommend it, especially if you're a beginner. You still want to be more selective. But you can have a small position open even when direction is not in your favor. Because if you're in with 5% or less than 5% of your account, yeah, it might show that you're in the red. But guess what? When direction does become favorable, you can step on the gas. And then it takes a few cents for you to make back. Look at that. Now I'm in the green. I was down $400, but that's because my position was light. And when I really mean to step on the gas, I size up on my position, but I size up when it makes sense, not early on. And this is more of like in a perfect world. Again, I've taken many trades before where I buy in way too early, and I buy in heavy way too early. I'm human, right? I make these mistakes. So please note that it's not just you, it's all of us. Even as time goes on, they're great reminders of like, hey, you need to clean up the way that you're trading. That's really all I should be taking from it. Of like, if I do buy in heavy and I do buy in early, to be like, okay, hey, what could I have done better next time? Not even about, well, I made money, so it was a successful trade. Yes, but there's always room for improvement, right? And that's the difference between a good trader and a great trader, is that a good trader, sure, they made money and they move on. A great trader, in my opinion, looks back at their trade and sees what is an area of opportunity. Yes, I made money, but what could I have done better? Could I have, dollar cost average into my position a little bit better? Could I have been or waited more for confirmation? There's a handful of different things that you could have done, right? And this is just a thing to be mindful of. So what I'm going to do is I'm in right now with about 1,400 shares. And just to be cautious and just to be careful, I'm going to reduce a part of my position right now. I just covered half of my position, 50%, because I didn't care to be in too heavy. Just in case it begins to recover, I've closed half of my position that I had open. So this means that now I sized down on my position. Now I'm green, And if it does continue to go according to plan, I can always add more to it, or I can leave it with a lighter position size. And it feels great. Have you guys ever had that feeling where like, I would really encourage you that if you are someone that is consistently stressed out about each position that they are taking, learn how to size down. I think it really changes your intention when you begin to trade, because again, I sized down, I reduced my position size. So now that it is going up, I'm not as stressed out, right? Because I know that I locked in part of my profits. Now that it's going up, I was down $400 when it was up here, but now I'm up still $130. I did my part in reducing position size at oversold levels. So now that it's beginning to recover, I can jump back in again. And that is the beautiful thing about this, is that you are doing the actions that you are choosing to take are not just to make money, but they're in your future self's best interest. And I think that's the beautiful thing. So I'm going to go back and start opening up short here at these overbought levels. Just 100 shares, right? I don't have to go crazy. I don't need any more shares. Just if the opportunity presents itself, I'll take it. Ricky's going to get squeezed. All right. Let's see. Be careful, Ricky. The big whales are coming in. I don't know what you mean by that. The big whales? I thought we couldn't call them that. Just kidding. Dad joke. Just kidding. Don't take it so serious. How do you get away with market orders so often? I feel like I get screwed with the filled price. Dan, I'm right there with you. I don't always love market orders. I do agree with you that it is stressful sometimes. Like even right now, you saw it rip up and then fill me. And obviously with a short price, you want it to be the highest price because you want it to make the difference as it goes down. But I try not to overthink it. When I go in with these 100 shares, it's about 26,000. So again, it's still a nice chunk of change, but based off of my overall account size. I think I saw a comment talking about like, why are you calling 150 shares a small position or 250 shares? It's all perspective. It's not small. It's small in perspective to what it is that I trade with. I know how many shares I can buy in total. So buying 150 to 250 shares is relatively small based off of what I can go into, right? If it's 5, 10, or 15%, in the grand scheme of things, 5, 10, or 15% of my 100% is relatively a small position. So when I talk to my LPP team, they know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about, percents of like, hey, I plan to go in with 5, 10, or 15%. If you're not familiar with that, then I would imagine so, because maybe you're not familiar with watching someone trade live, right? Especially someone with maybe a little bit of a larger account. But I try not to focus so much on my dollar amount. I try to focus on my position size, like scale. Like, am I in with 5, 10, 15%, 50%, 100%? That's what's important to me. The dollar amount is just it's still important. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love trading with a lot of money, but it's just the vehicle. I use it as a vehicle to make even more money, right? The $40,000 that I made yesterday shorting DJT and going long on DJT. It's not like, like if someone were to hand me $40,000 versus the $40,000 that I made yesterday, I'd probably be, yeah. But overall, it's like I still haven't, I'm still taking trades. So I know that today it could have been a red day. So I know out of this 40,000, I could have given back 5, 10, or 15K, depending on the trades that I take. So I need to be mindful of that. It's all perspective. It's all relative. It begins to make a little bit more sense as you begin to make a little bit more money. But the biggest thing to focus on is your account. Focus on your account. Focus on your position size management. And remember, we all start small. It would be idiotic for you to start trading with $100,000, $50,000, even $10,000 is a ton of money to start trading with, because when you're learning how to trade, that means that, again, you're testing things out. And when you test things out, you run the risk of potentially losing money at a little bit of a more uncontrollable rate. This is why, again, for our LPP students that go through the LPP lesson library, we talk about different ways on how you can start small or paper trade, right? Our focus is to not just educate the beginners, but also to make them aware of the risks that come with the stock market. And I think that's the biggest thing. Everyone's always so focused on making money, and no one's ever focused enough on, well, learning how to keep it, right? But I think that's, and I hope, right, I guess my LPP members can speak for themselves based off of their experience. But my focus always is to look out for the beginner when it comes down to position size management and risk management as well. And I hope that that's expressed through the videos and the content that I create. I'm going to reduce it another 250 shares just in case. Again, the shares that I bought up here, I'm just reducing them up here. It looks like we're actually going to get the break below. Yep, we're getting the break. And again, this is the thing that I love about it, is that I can step on the gas when I want to, right? I'm going to go in with 500 shares short, which is about $131,000. Again, I get it. It's a lot of money, but it's just position size management. It's when it breaks below a specific, indicator that I use it as like okay, we're showing more signs of progress, and it's still not guaranteed. It still can begin to recover, but normally when we break below this, it more easily sells off. So we'll see. We'll see which way it goes. Ricky, how's your hand? What's going on, Carlos? This is what I have to work with right now. So I got this little plastic piece, but yeah, my pain last night was pretty. It was probably one of the worst pains that I've felt since my accident. I don't know why. I'm able to unwrap it now and take a shower and clean it, and that's exactly what I did before going to bed. And I thought I felt fine, right? You let it air out. I was cleaning it with like a little Q-tip, and my lady was helping me. And I just, looks like we're showing signs of a support here. Be careful. So we're not doing what I thought we were going to be doing, and that's fine, right? You can't be right every single time. But yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night in a lot of pain. I woke up cold, almost like I had a fever, because of how much the pain was. But I try not to take any of the pain medications that they gave me, because supposedly they're not the best for you. So from time to time, I'll take some Tylenol or ibuprofen. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So it's tolerable. I'm still able to trade. I fortunately have my left hand, and I still have, my mind. And I have all of you guys, right? So thank you guys for taking time and tuning on in. And I hope that you've enjoyed this little live session so far. But did he pass out? Are you right-handed? That I am. Yeah, it's probably the most unfortunate hand to be, obviously out of the two. But it's okay. I mean, we're making do with it. So life goes on, and we're making the most out of it. I wanted to follow up with the DJT. Looks like we're still showing signs of consolidation here, right? Looks like it's building this little, what would we call this? Bull flag pattern, right? It's a descending resistance, but a horizontal support. But sometimes it just randomly breaks out this way. I would love to see this thing break out this way, not because I'm going to jump back in again. I might not, but I'd love to see DJT in the red. Make sure you lock in profits. Here it goes. It's actually beginning to show more signs of a support here. Yikes. And there it goes, quickly giving it back. Let's see if it recovers just as quick. We got BTC with a nice rip up right now. Let me see. I had it on a different time frame. Yeah, BTC. Let me show you the correlation real quick. So BTC is trying to run up. And when BTC tries to run up, as you can see, right? Well, that's the 30-minute time frame. I was like, that doesn't look the same. But right, we sold off, we consolidated, and then we ran up. So all I'm paying attention to is direction, and progress. Are we showing signs of progress on the upside? Are we showing signs of progress on the downside? That's all I'm asking myself. Progress, progress, progress. Okay? All right, well, it's still showing signs of progress on coin. There it goes, going red. Let's let it run up a little bit more. Looks like BTC has a little bit more in it. $250 shares. BTC still running up. Wow. But it looks very, very overbought. So when that thing comes crashing down, it's going to be, as long as Coinbase follows, which it doesn't always. Another 250 shares. There it goes, first sign of a resistance. Look at this. Let's see if we get it. Nope, still showing signs of retest of that same resistance, but also Coinbase likes to pay attention to NASDAQ. So based off of how NASDAQ is performing, it does influence Coinbase's performance. But also remember, Coinbase is its own company, and it is going through some negative market sentiment right now through that negative news of being investigated by the SEC. So we'll see if it follows. We'll see if it's enough to drag the price down. Doesn't have to be, just something to pay attention to. And it looks like DJT is beginning to pick back up. It's testing the price point of $68. So I do have to say, right, just like we talked about, this descending resistance, horizontal support, and then a breakout above EMA. The thing with this is we did a pretty good job. If you look at my price target of $66 when I ended up selling, that's not a bad exit. And my overall entry price as it reached, highs of 69 to almost $70, not a bad exit or not a bad entry for that short position. So I'm very proud of that position that I took on DJT. Now we just need Coinbase to follow. But as of right now, BTC is still running up. So we're just going to have to be a little bit more patient with this one. So there it goes, back in the green. We'll see if we get that curl back over, showing signs of resistance. So again, this is what I talk about of lack of progress, of like, is it showing signs of a resistance? Which again, it's just to be like, okay, is it showing signs of a resistance? Can I, or is it still continuing to show, progress on the upside? Kind of like this, when it ran up, right? There's pullbacks along the way and that's fine. But then when you begin to see, okay, we're lacking progress, we're pulling on back. Oh no, okay, red after red after red. This is lack of progress. We're beginning to see some selling pressure. So that's what I'm wanting to see here. We saw some green on the recovery. Now I want to see some red showing signs of progress. And there it goes. BTC is beginning to curl back over. So that's all I needed. Now that should be the negative influence that I wanted to see on coin. So I'm just going to do my final 150 share short. I shouldn't need much more than that. And we'll see what we make out of this. Okay. I noticed talking through your trades keeps you focused and on point. Yeah, sometimes. Not always, though. But sometimes for sure. And I like to commentate, right? I feel like that's why you guys are here. Me just taking trades, not really commentating. I mean, anyone can do that, right? But I think the biggest, and correct me if I'm wrong, for all the beginners, if you're tuning on in for the first time, please, I want to hear you. I want to hear like what I can do to make your experience better. But if I'm not mistaken, a big part of, when you're trying to learn how to do something is you want to learn on, hey, Ricky, why did you open up short up here? Why did you buy here? Why did you reopen up short here again? And why are you going to reduce back down here, right? It's the whys. Everyone, it's kind of like a little kid. Why? Why are you doing that? I want to explain my why. Because I don't believe that you need to copy me. I don't want you to copy me. But I want you to understand my why. Why do I buy? Why do I sell? Why do I open short here? Why do I cover short here? Because if you understand the why, the problem solving behind it, then next time that you're put in a similar position, you can come back to your experience with me and ask you, okay, well, this is what he did last time, and this was his why. So I can use it as a reference to have a better understanding of what to do next time, right? And just imagine, not just one video, but being able to do this every morning. And that's the whole point of our live sessions. is for you to get a genuine experience of the good days, of the bad days, of what it's like to watch someone trade live in the stock market. And you get to see it all happen. You get to see the good days, you get to see the bad days, you get to see the no trade days. But even that's useful. Well, Ricky, why didn't you trade today? Well, market was sideways. Direction wasn't clear. Or a report is about to be released, and that is why I didn't, right? It all begins to make a little bit more sense. So there it goes, big red candle. Not be greedy, buying to cover. 500 shares. So I'm beginning to reduce my position size as this thing begins to test the moving average. There obviously is a lot more selling pressure, right, that we can experience, but I'm just choosing not to overcomplicate it. So this time I'm going to size out of my position a little bit quicker than I did last time. So I just sold 1,000 shares, 500, 500. The other times I was selling in about 150 to 250 increments, but I noticed that it wasn't quick enough based off of how quick this thing would recover. So I'm just being mindful of that. Again, good traders can make adjustments after each day. Amazing traders can make adjustments after each trade. So just being mindful, what happened last time? Okay, well, last time I sold a little bit, too slow. So this time I'm going to try to sell a little bit too early. And this time I did, right? I sold about 75% of my position instead of less than 50%. And I did it in a much quicker period. That just means that I reduced a lot quicker. The market is closed tomorrow, right? That is correct. But right, especially if you are a beginner and if you're not part of our LPP team. I hope that you guys understand this. Like, LPP is a one-time payment and there's no monthly subscription, and you can do the math. We're offering you 50% off, which is 50% off of 500. So you get it for $249.50. Like, I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to explain to you the value that I provide. I mean, you see the value that I provide within this live stream. Great. This is part of it. Then you also get the A to Z video lesson library, and you also get the LPP Discord chat. You get all of it for $249. And just do simple math. Let's say that you were to commit and take seriously for just 1 year. First off, you have lifetime access, but I just want you to do the math based off of 1 year, even 1 year. If you were to break it down per day, it ends up being less than $1 per day. And ask yourself, do I value this at least at $1 per day, right? Even with the 252 trading days that there are within a year, it would be less than $1 a day. So if you would value it at least $1 per day, just again, no. Just by you signing up for LPP is not going to make you successful. Like, you signing up for anything or anyone is not going to make you the best trader ever. You still need to put in the work, right? I work with these people every single day. And you have to put in the work, actually learn from your mistakes, and actually do this like you want to. Because at the end of the day, it is a very challenging market, and I'm not here to sugarcoat it. What you saw me do today is I'm working really well with the market today, just kind of like I did yesterday. And I have my good days and I have my bad days. But the thing is, you just begin to catch on very early on when you're having a bad day, and you just stop trading. Right? Your job as a trader is not to avoid risk. Your job is just to manage it. And you'll begin to learn a little bit more of these concepts as time goes on. But understand, you start small. You make a lot of mistakes, and that's good. Because when you make a lot of these mistakes, but you start small, they don't cost you very much money. And that's amazing. But you learn a lot. So understand that you have to learn how to trade first before you actually even consider trying to make money. So if you can make that time commitment, then yeah, of course, I'd love to have you as a part of the LPP team if you value us enough. And if you do, it's the second link in the description down below. It's 50% off. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. And yes, you also do get access to all of the updates. If you don't think that you're ready, if it's not something that you think that you would value, then I'm not here to convince you, right? I mean, you're seeing exactly what it is that you would get to experience every single day. And if this isn't what you would want, then don't sign up. I trade shares. I don't trade options. I trade the stock market. I don't trade crypto, right? I'm very open and I lay it all out for you on what I offer. So if it's something that you want to be a part of, I'd love to have you as a part of the team. Just know that I expect you to show up every day or whenever it is that you want to make yourself available. Okay? Okay. All right. So new subscriber here, your live sessions have really helped me with my thought process on trading. Really happy to hear that, man. Thank you. Thank you. So if I work a 9 to 5, is it worth joining? So Jason, that's a good question. We have students, we have people with full-time jobs. You know, when I go live for about 30 minutes to an hour and a half in the mornings. I don't know where it is that you are, if it's 9 o'clock now or if it's 6:30. I don't know if you're on the West Coast or the East Coast or if you're in a different country. All I do know is that these live streams are available live, and they're also available to rewatch at any time. We post them in this group chat within LPP, and you can go back and watch it at any time. You ask yourself, like, can you make the time either during the lives or at a later time to dedicate and watch these on your own? And if you can answer yes and you're willingly able to do it, then great. You have to have some form of intrinsic motivation, because if you expect that just by signing up you're magically going to get a blanket of motivation, it just doesn't work that way, right? You need to want it more than, the next person that just got started in the stock market. It is a very challenging market, but to me, it's just one of my favorite things to do, right? With all the other markets that I partake in, if it's investing in real estate, if it's e-commerce, whatever the case might be, there's nothing quite like this. Now, obviously, this comes at a greater form of risk, but just a heads up, I'm going to open up short here again. Obviously, it comes at a greater form of risk, but also the potential reward. And you don't even have to trade every single day. Just imagine understanding the market enough that you know it a little bit more than the average person. Like, we have a lot of people that don't even day trade, that focus on swing trading or investing. They just learn the very basics from the course itself, and then they watch the live streams from when they want to. But that's the thing. It's just to know enough about the market that you know when to buy and you know when to sell, right? Right now, markets are at all-time highs, so maybe it's not the best time to go all in. But maybe when markets are at 20%, when they're correcting themselves and when they're very low, historically speaking, that's the best time to buy, right? Just like everyone that bought at the end of 2022, they made a ton of money in 2023. It all had to do with timing, right? So it doesn't have to be like, oh, this is what I do and this is what you'll have to do. This is what I trade and this is what you'll have to trade. My goal is just to have you understand the stock market a little bit more than what you do already. And if you have no understanding of it, then I'm confident that you'll have a lot to learn. So I hope that answers your question. But again, it's the second link in the description down below. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and yes, it is 50% off. If you have any questions before joining, you can shoot me a DM via Discord or via Instagram, or just feel free to comment down below in the comment section once the video is posted. Correct. Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. So if you want LPP to tell you, if all you want to do is like to be told where to buy and where to sell, we do not send out call outs. And I've been very open with that. I do not tell you where to buy or where to sell. I know other traders tried to do that. To me, that's a red flag. You should not be taking trades ever based off of someone else's opinion or risk tolerance. We all have different risk tolerance. That's something that will begin to make more sense as time goes on. But there is not one person that I've ever seen that has call outs that is worth following. It's kind of just like when you were in school. Do you learn by copying other people? Do you really expect to make a career out of just copying other people? No, right? So why would the stock market be any different, right? You need to learn what to do, what not to do. From your experience and from your mistakes, you'll begin to gain your experience. And at that point, you can make more informed decisions based off of your own experience, not someone else's. And I think that should be the goal for everyone, but I can't speak for everyone. So you let me know what you think. Elite PC, what's up, man? Thank you. Hello from Portugal. What's going on, Luis? Thanks for tuning on in. We're getting pretty close to towards the end of the live stream. It looks like DJT pulled on back and sold off a little bit more, but it's going right back up to retest. Look at that. Nice little breakout there, but also nice little breakdown here. Okay. So $2,347 on DJT. That's a nice little short. And then so far on coin, which this position is not closed, so I don't want to call this as profit yet, but I'm up about $3,000, $4,000 so far. So overall on the day, right around $5,000. I'll just round down $5,000 to start off the day. And that's a happy Thursday for me, for sure. I'm very grateful for it. We took some pretty simple trades. We're doing our job at locking in profits and keeping position size small or taking it into consideration. And I think that's the thing. It's, we don't have to be perfect. We just have to be calculated. And I hope that you can see that being expressed through my videos. So I'm going to leave it at that. We are approaching that 1 hour mark. And yeah, I'm going to get ready for my video that I'm going to be uploading on YouTube. And the last thing that I do want to remind you is for our Corvette giveaway that ends in April, right? So unfortunately, I wrecked the white one, but the new red one is a Z51 package, and it's actually newer. We're going to be giving away in April, and right now we're offering you bonus entries. So 2K bonus entries on all premium wall art. For those that don't know what premium wall art is, it's actually the art that you see right behind me. So the day trader art that you see behind me, this is one of the vertical periodic elements, but then also this one, I don't know if you can see it. This one is a horizontal one. So it's the no risk, no Rari one. And all of them earn you 2,000 bonus entries on top of what you already earn just by purchasing the item. So that ends today. So if you've been thinking of buying some wall art like what you see behind me, and you want to get entered for the Corvette giveaway, then head on over to shoptechbits.com, select your favorite wall art, and earn 2,000 bonus entries. If you have any questions before purchasing anything, shoot me a DM via Discord or via Instagram, and would love to answer it for you. I really do appreciate you guys starting off your morning with me. I hope it was everything that you expected and then some. I hope that you learned something new. And if you have any suggestions on how we can make your experience as a beginner even better, shoot me a DM, and we'll love to, hear your feedback. So I hope that it earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And for all those that end up wanting to join LPP, it's the second link in the description down below. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year